Hey boys and girls, it's Nightstalker here. Welcome along today to learning about crafting, artillery and the outside world. Check it out. We're sitting here in town and this guy behind me here is the first one we're going to talk about, and that's how to craft and recondition items. I've seen a lot of questions about this on Reddit and the comment sections and things like that, so we're going to do a little bit of talking about that today. So the first thing, we're going to craft an item. So we're going to go to our inventory here. We'll just quickly grab some stuff. I probably should have prepared that, but that's just life and how that's going to be today. That's probably all we need now. So we're just going to open some of these boxes real quick and turn them into, I don't know, a maul. We'll turn that one into a helmet. Oh no, we've got some boots here. And a purple one. We'll turn that into purple chanvron. Okay. So, now that we're ready to go, the first thing that we're going to try and craft is a green item. So here we go, the smith. If you can't find the smith, hold down your tab key, which will give you this map, and you can simply click on the smith, and the drunken AI will navigate you into several walls on the way to meet him. So, very easy at this point to choose, create weapons and armor. So, we'll choose helmets and headwear, and we'll narrow it down to, say, heavy armor. So we're going to create a crested leather helm. No, we're not. What did we build? We got a maul. That's what we did. Of course, create weapons and armor. So we're going to go here, and we're going to choose maul. So we've got the schematic that we need here, and we've got all the resources. Now this little button here, use bound material and bronze coins. What you do with that is, if you tick it off, you need to have an unbound schematic as well as a whole bunch of unbound materials. The way you can tell that is, see here, this little chain link up in the top right, that means bound, and without one is unbound. Bound simply means that it can only be used by you on your account. You can't sell it and you can't transfer it to another character or another player. These ones can be. You can sell them real nice on the internet. The internet of V and the selling here. But we're not going to go into that today. So, we now know the difference between bound and unbound. By the way, if you want to sell your item after you create it, it has to be unbound. Of course, we don't have one, so we're just going to roll with it. So here we go. Start crafting. And when you craft an item, it will give a whole bunch of random stats. So here we go. We've got blunt damage, we got agility +3, blunt damage 1102, and blunt armor penetration 1352. So the only bonus we got on this particular item when we made it was agility +3. Some of the other things you can get are strength. You can get a strength bonus. You can get the straight out armor penetration and blunt damage bonuses, and it's the same with all of them, the piercing and the slashing as well. The other one you can get is a leadership bonus, which is very, very popular. Where are we here? See the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down is leadership +18. These are some of the stats that you can get here. You can just pause it if you want to have a closer look. Now, being a longsword, I've very much gone for leadership-based gear. And so you can get critical defense as well. All of the things that you can find on an armor are available there, including the strength, agility, leadership, and so on. So what do we get on our maul? It's a piece of junk, right? We've gone, oh no, we haven't crafted a decent one. So to undo that, very simple, go in here and you go salvage item. And you can take the item that you've made if it's no good, and you can put it in here and you can salvage it. Please confirm you wish to break down the selected item. Once you hit this, it will be gone for good. Nobody needs a maul. Isn't it interesting how the little maul symbol, it looks a lot like a crutch, don't you think? Don't you think? And here we go. These are the things we got back, which is only a fraction of what we spent to make it. You know, making weapons and the body armor pieces particularly is very expensive. So that's how we do that. Now you might notice at this point that to create any of the green items is pretty simple. All right, the blue items are a little bit more different. So we've got some boot schematics, so let's have a look at that. Now the thing about the blue ones is that you will get a set bonus. Do you see down the very bottom of these two, what do you call them, sub menus? I don't know. if you have 2 pieces of the guardsman set, your maximum health will be increased by 5%, which is great if you're a longsword particularly. And the other one is for 4 pieces, if you wear the whole set of guardsmen, you will get increased piercing, slashing, and blunt defense by 120, which is absolutely fantastic. But you'll notice that you don't get a set bonus on the green ones, and that's not uncommon. In fact, it's perfectly normal. You don't get set bonuses for green items. So anyway, we were going to make some guardsman boots. Here we go, and we'll start crafting this. Come on, leadership. 25 leadership, which is the maximum. Oh, that's not bad. I mean, they're okay. They're okay. They're not what I'm looking for. So the idea here is that you melt them down, recraft, melt them down, recraft, melt them down, recraft, until you get the ones that you want. And across your career in the Conqueror's Blade game, you will go through hundreds of pieces, looking for just the right roll. As you can see, my item on the left, it's not particularly amazing. My guardsman boots, which are legendary, crafted. Gold up the top there, but they do give me an 18 leadership, which is the best ones I've found for me, because I'm also collecting the health bonus. Being a longsword, the heal is maximized when you have more health, so that's what I'm doing there. And you'll notice that we used a blue blueprint, but we got a purple gear item. The guardsman's boots, both gold on the left and purple on the right, are still blue items. They're just a well-crafted blue item. So when it comes to reconditioning later, this is important. Neither of these are anything more than blue. They're not a purple one, and they're not a gold one. They're just fancy crafted versions of. As we were just saying, you need a lot of bits and pieces to craft them. How do you get those bits and pieces? Well, rebel quests on your daily... Oh, we got a... Okay, crafting, lovely. Most of these quests here will... not these ones. Where are we? I am absolutely losing the plot. It is definitely your weekly quests. These sorts of things here. If you want to look what's inside a chest, hold down Control when you click, and it will show you what's inside it. So all of these weekly quests are definitely what you want to complete to get very large amounts. And you'll see here that you can often get blueprints as well from some of these. To get the blueprints, which are the most common ones that you'll be using, you can get them from season quests from your F4 quest set if you're a new player, and as you've just seen there, also on battle rewards. The hardest thing to get when you're a new player is powdered silver. That is the main limiter on how often you can craft. Now, the way to do that is if you've got a whole bunch of bronze coins like I do. What have I got here? 3.5 million. You can go up to this wholesaler here. Go to Barding and Tack, and you want to buy saddles. I believe it's saddles. I haven't done this in a while. Buy a whole bunch of them. You can 6 at a time. You can transfer. So obviously you want to just fill your inventory with them if you're trying to do this. But for now, we're just going to take 6, and hopefully that will give us the result we want. I don't want to have to do it all over again. But we go back here to our smith after we've purchased our saddles. Salvage item materials. Right click all of these into here and hit salvage. And now what we're doing is we're turning bronze into crafting materials. You'll see there how we've got both the green crafting material rivets and the blue crafting material powdered silver. And we're also going to get a whole lot of other things as well. In this case we're going to get the lacquer and paint, and we're going to get the wire and thread and metal rings. Now if you want to salvage different things as well, you can salvage items that you pick up along the way in battles and things like that you don't want to sell or can't sell or just want to get rid of, then you can salvage those as well. And different items that you salvage will give you different things. See how this one here gave us some iron bars, steel bars. So if you want to get more steel bars, salvage chanfrons from the horse seller instead. And that's how we get all of those bits and pieces. So next on my list, purple ones. So you'll see here that I've got myself a nice epic chanfron schematic, and it's purple. Now you won't see a lot of purple schematics in the game. They're actually very hard to get. You get the occasional ones from doing those quests that I just showed you in the reward boxes, but the most common way you'll get them is through special events and things like that. And you might think, well, why is everyone not running around in purple schematic armor? Now remember, this is not a purple item, it's a blue item that has been crafted into a purple one. And the difference is quite significant, because particularly the weapons and armor, you will not get many of them. Maybe 1, maybe 2 per season, right? I've actually, in the current season, I found more than I would usually. So I'm wondering if the drop rate and the accessibility of it has increased without them telling us. But for all intents and purposes, no matter how you slice it, purple schematics are very rare. So why are people not running around in purple schematic gear? Because, I mean, if you've been playing 5 seasons, you should have enough to get a helmet and the body armor and the gloves and the boots, right? Well, yes, technically right. But as I've just explained, it took me many attempts at crafting these from blue schematics to get the ones that I wanted. We're talking well over 100 crafting attempts, maybe 200, maybe 300 crafting attempts across the more than a year I've been playing to get this sort of level things. And when you craft something with a purple schematic, you can't just melt it down and make another one like you can with blue schematics, because the blue schematics are fairly common. Fairly common. So the reason that you don't see people walk around in the purple gear is because to get these gold or purple levels, a purple schematic will always be purple or higher, I should say. A blue schematic will always be blue or higher. Green schematics will always be green or higher. It's just that they're super rare. And if you, by some chance, manage to roll 25 leadership and plus 1,000 health on the first item, well, that's amazing. But if you don't, you can't just melt it down and make another one with a purple schematic, because you won't have any more purple schematics. And that's why, even though they look very powerful, they're really a non-event in the game. So don't spend all your time looking for the purple schematics. It's a completely non-event. You know, if you find a weapon schematic, purple weapon schematic, or you have a choice, often a lot of the boxes will give you a choice between the armor or the weapon, take the weapon every time, because at least, you know, you're not trying to collect a whole set of it, and you're not going to interrupt your guardsman set. Like, for example, if I put one purple item in here, my set of 4 item armors, I wouldn't get the increased piercing, slashing, and blunt defense by 120, which is at the very bottom of the submenu there, because I wouldn't have 4 pieces of guardsman. And that's why purple armor and weapons are really a non-entity in the game. So, having explained to you all about that, the next one is how to recondition items. So back in here, you'll see I've got 150 of 270. This one, 92 of 152. This one's probably the best one, 46 of 200, because I can go ahead and recondition this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off, and you'll see that while I've been playing, the maximum hit points is 200 for this item. Actually, we probably want to put that back on just so I can show you, because when you repair it, watch how the maximum health goes down. It was 200, now it's 162. And you can repair that time over time. You know, don't repair any of your items until they're down in sort of the 40s, or they go yellow, which will show you it's worn and broken. And once it gets all the way, your maximum hit points of your item gets to the point so low where it's becoming a problem, you're going to have to recondition it. So it's a blue item. Even if it was purple, it's still a blue item as guardsman. And we're going to go over here again. Oops, wrong guy. This guy. Down here it says reconditioning. So what we do is we're going to put our helmet in there, and we've got all the things we need, and we're going to hit the recondition button. Here it goes. It's got a little animation here. Now, when you get these options, you can either choose to have the original exactly as it was when you first crafted it, exactly, with no change except the endurance of the item has been moved back up to maximum. Or you've got an option of taking a second roll. And this one is not going to be the same as it was before, but it's just the same as if you had crafted a brand new helmet. So, you know, for example, this one here is a particularly bad roll. It's only going to give me plus 32 piercing defense. So I would lose the health bonus. Oh, it is giving me a little bit of health. But I would lose the health bonus a little bit, and I would lose my 19 leadership, which is really bad. So if you choose this one, you'll get the new item. If you choose this one, you'll keep the original condition one. Right, and now we've got the helmet exactly as it was when I first used it. We'll put it back on. This is one of those reward chests. Look at that. Plus you get some honor, which is really nice, and some silver coins. And really, that's all you need to know about crafting. You just have to cycle through and craft and craft and craft and craft until you get the item that you want. And it will take you a long time. Okay? Don't panic if you haven't got all the good items straight up off the bat. It takes months to get a full set of what you really want to get. Anyway, let's move on to something else. Alright, the next thing I'm going to show you is the outside world. So, same thing as before, if you hold down the tab key, the person you want to see is down here, the watchman, right? and he is there. So you can just click on him and the AI will take you there just like this, no matter where you are in the city. But as I said, it's a really drunk AI. It will drive you into walls, it'll drive you up against cliffs, all sorts of weird stuff. And we're going to go leave fief. We'll talk about the goods delivery soon. Leave fief. So, you can take artillery if you're going to go and fight in territory wars or anything like that, but anything you take will take up wagon space. See volume 2800 and you've only got 150,000. It will also slow you down if you take artillery with you. So if you're just going out to collect resources or you're going out to do anything like fight just out in the open world, which is called fielding, then you don't take artillery with you. You only need this if you're going to go to a territory war and attack a city or a town or a village, whatever. You don't need this in general play, especially if you're not just playing, you're just playing by yourself and out and about. So, the other thing is that your unit choices will dictate your speed. For example, if you take 2 or 3 units of cavalry, you'll be much faster than if you take 5 units of serfs. Why are we taking 5 units of serfs? Because if we hit the U key, and we go to the barracks, and we're going to look here our serfs. And why are all of my serfs stopping at level 7? Well, there's a very good reason for that. We're going to go to the veterancy line of the serfs. And you'll see here, all we need is the first 6 upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Collect resources by 20%, 4 more soldiers, decrease food consumption, which is outside in the open world, we consume food, which we'll show you in a minute, and another 4 soldiers to the unit, and increase collection resources by 20% again. So you can produce more than one of the same unit. If you go up here, you might have to untick this here, unformed units only, but you can just create another serf unit. You can create any unit multiple times, but you can only take in battle one of the same unit at a time. Not so in the open world. You can take 5 units of serfs, which is what you should do if you're collecting resources. If you're going out to fight, probably take some cavalry or something like that. But because we're going to learn about collecting resources, we're going to take 5 units of serfs, and you should too. Here we go, loading in from the outside. Now down the bottom here you've got a food consumption. When you are in, press the M key, when you are in friendly territory, i.e. this zone here in this area, you will not use any food when you move around. The moment that you leave the friendly zone, you will start consuming food. We actually need to find a resource node that is not currently collected. Low. I guess we'll go collect some granite, for want of a better thing to do. It would be really nice if we can just find one that's not completely exhausted. Oh, there we go. We'll go to the sandstone quarry. Now, this is going to take a little bit of walking, so I will speed it up in the video. But just while you're watching this, please remember, if you're new to the game or you've just decided to get involved with some of the great things that go on with premium accounts and getting unit skins, up on the screen right here now, if you go to the my.com's marketplace, you'll see the screen, and these packs here are only available from content creators. So see these skins down the bottom? These are available within the packs. Now there are several packs available on the my.com marketplace. If you want to purchase the silver currency in game, the only way you can do it is through packs, and some of those packs are these content creator packs. And this is part of how I keep the channel running, because it's actually quite expensive to make a channel, even if you're doing it as a hobby like I am. So if you ever like the look of these things, especially the skins, when you go to purchase these from the my.com marketplace, hit my see the code down the bottom here, type in Night Stalker, and you'll be supporting the channel. And thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Just while we're walking, you'll notice that there's this sort of thing here. Now this will disappear at the end of the season, so we won't go into that. Something is only valid for this season. Now, as you can see, we're crossing the border out of the friendly territory, and you'll notice our food down the bottom has started to disappear, little bit by little bit, and that will continue to be so. If you fill your cart from a village farm or some of the way stations here, any food in your cart, it will ask you if you want to consume that too. But if you're out collecting resources, you do need food to collect the resources. Once you have the resources, it doesn't matter at all if you run out, if you're on the way back to the city to deposit your things back into the bank, so to speak, put them back in the fief. So we're almost at our first one. These guys here, these are rebels. If you haven't seen these before and you're a real newbie, anything out in the world is one of either two things. It's either a player, and they're quite obvious. See them here, and you'll see the train that we've got going on here. You know, they'll have cavalry if they're cavalry, pikemen if they're pikemen. Or the other thing that these could be is rebels. And see there's two helmets here? They're a level 2 rebel. They're also a level 2 rebel. Here is one of those wayside inns where you can restock your territory. You can also heal your troops here. Fighting in the open world against another player is called fielding. And it's quite common to do that. See how I've stopped moving and the food consumption has stopped? That's also a thing. So if another player ran up to me right now and attacked me, they've fielded me. And that's banditry, right? If you want to get a couple of cavalry units, you can chase down other people that are collecting resources as well. It's not particularly profitable, but you might find it fun if that's the way that you want to play the game. Now, when you're fielding and fighting against another player, basically you'll only get one unit selection out there because you can't easily go back and change. You'll get overrun by the enemy, quite common. So when people are going to attack you, or if you're going to attack them, I suggest the most powerful unit you've got, especially if it's cavalry. If you lose the fight in the field, you will lose half of your resources that are in your wagon. If you've got no resources in the wagon, you lose nothing. But also, the unit that you're fought with, it's not just them that take damage, it's the entire roster that you've got there. In my case, all 5 sets of serfs would get damaged, and you can't repair them except back in a city. And unlike siege and field battles in the city, your unit will actually take losses, and you'll have to replenish that using the U key here. So if we fight, and these guys here will start to die. Alright, so if we got killed in a field battle, and these guys, even if they were used or not, you would lose maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, and this number would go down. But back in the city, you can replenish them nice and easy. And they will also lose some of their kit. Alright, so anyway, Sandstone Quarry. Once per day, you can go to each resource node, just once, and you can click the gather button. So we'll do that real quick here. The other thing is, you can use a requisition order, I believe they're called. Yes, requisition order. And I'll show you those in just a moment. You won't get so many when you're harvesting, unless you've got a lot of serfs up to the correct level, and whether you've got experience in the tech node, which we'll show you there. Do you see up here? We got experience. These things here, you end up heaps and heaps of them, but these are requisition orders, and you get those mostly from doing your daily quests is the most common way to get them. Also the daily login where you click each day to get a very minor reward, you'll often get them from that as well. Now you'll see that we can't gather any more, but if you've got a requisition order, you can gather more. So gather, 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 gather. Now, if you find yourself that you're the first one to a purple resource node, which is, it's really hard to get purple resources because people just rush out and collect them all. But you don't need them, they're not essential in the game, and I'll show you why later. But if you want to get purple resources, what I suggest you do is you keep clicking this requisition button. Well, until it runs out, right? We're going to exhaust this eventually. But even if it's more than you can carry, and you can't fit it all in the wagon, you can just keep using those the requisition orders. You know, harvest 100 or 200 or 300,000 resources. Go for it. And then once those are harvested, do little trips backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards from the city. If you harvest up to your wagon limit, and then you go all the way back to the city, it's really inefficient. Others will collect all the resources from that node before you can get backwards and forwards. So harvest them all, leave them here, and then go back to the city, unload, come back, unload, come back, unload. You get the idea. Right, now as you saw before, we've got some collection experience. So we're going to hit the U key and go to the technology tab. And you'll see up here, I've got 1,896 experience, which is really not going to be enough for me. My minimum is 6,000 at this point, I think, to get another level, or 3,000. But these will allow you to level up along the tech tree. And they're things like, just get more resources, all right? Not all that difficult. And they're just simply bonuses to your harvesting. Alright, where's my list here? There is a way to increase your inventory. So if you hit here and you go to wagon, this is what we've got in the back of the wagon. And also, where are we here? Into the supplies. There is a maximum number you can put in here. If you press C, you can purchase things that will expand both your personal inventory and your, what do we call that thing? Your supply dump. You'll see that mine can fit, what are we up to now? 8 million? And I think pretty sure that's the maximum you can get at this point. But if you wanted to increase that, oh, it can't be expanded any further. You may be able to click that and it'll take you to the market as well. There is a way to collect all your resources in one, take it to a city, you know, a close by city, particularly if you're like way out here in the sticks and you're trying to collect, I don't know, green sheepskin tans. You can take them to this city here, all right, and then dump them here in the supply dump at Filovac. And then once you get back to Turalvaros, which is our home city, you can talk to the watchman and have them teleported to you. So while that might save you a lot of time, it will actually use silver as well, like silver, the currency silver. I think that's pretty much all we've got for now. I will just teleport back to the city real fast. Maybe we can go and attack this guy and deliberately lose because we've got serfs. But we can show you what a field battle might look like. We will lose badly if we fight him. See, he's got cavalry. But we're not going to catch him either. Because he's got cavalry, he's much faster. We'll teleport back to town. Alright, so here we are back in town. And we're up near the artillery craftsman and that sort of carry on here. And the unit weaponsmith and the artillery, the refinery overseer. So, we go to this chap here, artillery craftsman to create artillery. This guy here will create unit weapon kits, and this guy here will turn the resources that you mine or harvest in the open world into usable materials. So first of all, we go, okay, over here we want to build, say, a ballista. All right, so it tells me what I need to go and collect. I need 100 of those, 50 of those, 50 of those, and 200 of those. As you can see, I've already prepared them because they do take a little time. Same with the unit weaponsmith. You can craft units there in the same way. So let's say we need to get some leather to be able to craft, I don't know, Namcan archer kit, shall we say? 4 of those to be able to craft one. But it actually does take some time if you're creating more. So I've done this ahead of time to be prepared. And you can create it out of white, green, blue, or purple resources. And you get the same number of output, but the number of input that you get to get the one output is different. For purple, you'll need 6 purple to get 1. You need 7 blue, 8 green, or 10 white resources to get the same level of output. Whatever you put in this field here is how many resources you will get at the end of the process. Once you've turned all of those into ingots or leather or whatever you need to do, you can come over here to your artillery craftsman. When I do this, I tend to build 10 at a time. I find green ballistas are fantastic, same with green culverins if you're looking to knock down artillery off walls. But we've got enough and we'll start crafting. You can see here there is a timer, which is why when I did the resources, I did them off camera, because you don't want to be sitting here listening to me talk for ages just while we create ingots and leather. And of course, you will then get, ta-da, 1 times ballista, or whatever you've crafted. Now, what if you want a blue ballista, or a purple one? Hit your M key, and you'll see that there are cities scattered around, the ones with the little yellow dots. If you click on them, it will tell you what sort of artillery is bought there. If that city is friendly to you, you can create the resources, go all the way to the city with them in your wagon. Yeah, I'm serious. And you can create those ones there. Same with purple. Have a look around the map. And also over here, this is where we create unit kits. Now, I wouldn't actually recommend doing this unless you're playing a lot of territory war and you're going to run out of bronze. But I hardly ever do this, like virtually never. Where are we? Namcan? No, I thought we had created some of those. We'll just quickly buy that. Now we've got enough, and we'll craft our unit kits. Start crafting. There we are, nice and easy. It's much easier when you're doing this to just simply go to the unit, choose here. You know, there'll be a plus sign under here, and just pay the bronze to do it. It's far easier, and I recommend you do it that way. And the same way that you found the blue artillery, the blue mortar we were just looking at, look out in the big open wide world and you'll see unit kits that aren't directly available here in the main town. Usually there's a bit of risk involved if you want to go out and get those other ones. Again, wouldn't recommend doing it for the unit weapons unless you're playing a lot of territory wars and you really need a lot of kits. Anyway, that pretty much sums up the artillery crafting, unit kit crafting, the outside world, and the blacksmith and armorer crafting system in Conqueror's Blade. I hope you learned something new, or you just enjoyed the video on crafting, or whatever. Thanks for coming to the channel.